was exceptional. But I gotta say, I'm leaning a little bit more towards, you know, what Sam was saying. Rachel, such a fan of her, and when I saw that she wasn't really going to be playing in the previous season, my heart broke. So I'm super glad to see her back in the server. But of course, they're coming up against the current North American queens because they beat FlyQuest in the regular season. This is a team that has just been on a massive upward trajectory, and I don't see them slowing down.
Well, this will certainly be a quick venture into the B bomb site as the T's come charging in. Now, the CTs have managed to stay alive. STX took one in the face, but they have fallen back out of the bomb site for the retake. But look at Astra finding these lurkers. Careful with your positioning now. Oh, they have a plan, and they are executing it very well. The positioning of those two CTs in that con position was so nice. They have clearly worked hard. I mean, we've got minimal information here, but it's the little details that make the difference. And so far, I'm seeing in that very small sample size, I'm seeing very promising things from the Frenchies.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if they can continue with that one. And for anyone who may be looking at this name and maybe you haven't been keeping up, so this is obviously the old prototype Blaze roster. They joined Zerance, so just a little bridge there for anyone who might be confused. And yeah, of course, looking really good off the back of that first pistol round. We come into this one, and it's Mac 10s across the board here. Like, this is, they're looking to make a statement.
Empathy's bought a Deagle, and I really do wonder why. But we'll find out the answer next round. Oh, okay, maybe we'll find out this round, actually. I was going to say, like, assuming they lose the round, what's her money going to look like? But maybe it doesn't get that far because they've got a 5-on-3 now as the bomb is urgently planted. The sheer chaos of this round could end up in a round win for the Comets. Send in the pistols first, send in the Mac 10s afterwards, have Empathy like almost as the person with the AWP, but it's a Deagle just trying to pop people in the back. There's a world where this works. They've got a smoke also. Oh man, you could just throw everybody around that bomb. How would you catch all of them? How would you know when you fragged enough of them? Is anybody on the bomb just yet? Oh, so much damage has been done. It's kind of come down to the knives. Okay, Empathy will get one in the back of the head. And it'll be 4,000, so a little bit less if there isn't a kill there. I don't know long-term if that's worth it, but, you know, to throw it in there every now and then, who am I to say otherwise? 2-0 for Zerance, or Zerance. If you're French, Zerance, bonjour.
French. I think that, you know, as you say, long-term, right, big question marks, but in that particular round, certainly paid off. And into this one, they've actually gone for the 2 MP9s. They could have bought a little bit more, but instead they're opting for a bit of a cash farm, and the damage that they've done to Zerance's economy can't be understated. So this could be that pivot point for them. No, they weren't able to reset that economy and bring it to a 1-1, but they've given themselves a lot to potentially springboard off of.
Yeah, with the data we saw from the second round of the CTs in the last game of Anubis, and we saw different options. Furia bought absolutely nothing.
Yep.
They also had the most rifles in the next round. MP9s can absolutely work though, but if you're in a position where you need to rotate, maybe you end up in a weaker position. So anyway, we could talk about that all day, but let's see what the pacing looks like here for Zerance. Hitting the minute mark. The high urgency is always at that sub 40-second mark, but you would want them to have a little more map control before that. Still CT smokes up in that mid position, however. And I think it's Empathy who is keeping an eye on things in that regard, but Emerald will be rewarded for the patience. Very nice work indeed. Now, they don't really have the position to rotate anybody, nothing crazy, so it's essentially like a 4-on-2 on this bomb site. Still with rotations coming through. Rachel needs to deliver this frag, and indeed she will. 27 seconds, and that bomb needs to get planted. STX, last one standing then for the Comets. 1v4 made 3 as that bomb is planted. Will she go for it? Creeping into the site now. Got one, but the trade will be made.
Okay, that was a little bit stressful for sure. Not entirely sure how that might have gone otherwise. I was a bit worried because they throw all of these like CT smokes, and it's almost like they're using that in lieu of map presence. Instead of actually putting bodies there, they're throwing down these smokes to try and slow down potential aggression and space taking. And unfortunately, it doesn't work out. The extremity control from Zerance is great. They get full mid control absolutely for free. And then, of course, they can power in towards that A site totally uncontested.
So it will be a struggle at the beginning of this game. It was I love the bold responses we got in the interview with Astra before the game where, I mean, she basically said this was not going to be much of a challenge. So far, so good. There's much CS to be played, however. But again, she is absolutely one to watch. A very strong player is Astra. Definitely stood out to me in the season. And players I talk to have positive, very positive things to say about her. Again, not the only star on the server. Definitely one to watch if you're asking me. Just a few left then. Oh, some nice damage. You want to keep them spending money. Hold on, we're down to a 2 versus 2. Are they going to go for the full rotation? That means that there are weapons that can be potentially collected here. An M4 and an AK for the CTs. And look at the timing that they'll both get there. Is there going to be a big swing here from Raven? Why not? Nothing doing, though. Forks with 11 HP. Do you play the 1v2? Do you give it up? She went for it. Nothing doing for 0.
Another solid, like, economic chipping round, but unfortunately it's turning into a bit of a snowball. Forks getting 2 kills there with the pistols, a little bit outrageous. And yeah, we didn't really get to highlight too many of the Supernova Comet players, and she's definitely been a standout. And it's one of our, you know, upstarts, first time on LAN type of vibes, or at least at an ESL Impact LAN. So really cool to see her stepping up in those moments. I think there's a little bit of over aggression, getting a little bit too hyped up, swinging out 1 by 1 in that final 2 versus 2. And I think that's where the inexperience gap really does come to fruition here. And that'll be Zerance getting themselves up to 4. But Forks now has an AWP. So perhaps this is where they can use that to better advantage. We're actually seeing them take some mid control a bit more often here. So it feels like they're learning from those mistakes.
The Comets have held on to a S-ton of utility. As we head to the minute mark, almost 4 of their players have full util. Incendiaries are being held. They're trying to deny the initial establishment of map control and threat level from this T side. Not only that, but also they threatening to poke out of that B bomb site. They only have 2 players towards A, but they better use this utility well. I'll certainly use the AWP well, but here come the numbers towards that A bomb site. Then the smokes and the flashes are starting to stream in, and that's a huge frag. That's the can opener from Monkey D. Julie, as in they go. 37 seconds to get this bomb planted, and Empathy will find 2. Trying to hold the map control. Ravens come through as well, and the Comets will find their first round.
Damn, that position on, like, at that pillar has just been so strong the last 2 rounds. First, Forks getting a double with a pistol from there. Then Empathy goes ahead and gets like a triple in the next round. And it just feels like that site is uncrackable. And I think that so much of that boils down to the fact that it's such a difficult site to retake on. So you don't want to lose that control. And that's something that I feel like the Supernova Comets are really leaning into. They don't want to give up that space if they don't absolutely have to. Now, of course, in the previous round, there was a quick rotation. And that's how things kind of start to fall apart. This time around, they don't give that time over, so they're able to finally get themselves that first round on the board.
We have to credit the Comets for overperforming in the rounds they're supposed to lose.
Yeah.
They've done so much damage that has reaped rewards for them now that they've won a round. Look what it's left Zerance with. Now, on the right maps, with the right strategy, you can close the distance and storm a bomb site with Tech 9s. At that close distance, anything can happen. Anubis might be one of those maps if they can get through the choke point with util. They have a flash in the mollies, so that could be the plan here for Zerance. Rachel teasing that mid position, maybe inviting someone to rotate away from a bomb site. As we can see, they have big intentions to that B area. Forks concedes her position then with a swing and a miss, and the heat is rising in this area. Through the smoke they go though, but they've got nothing to show for their exploits just yet. 30 seconds remain and Rachel is behind enemy lines. What can be done with that? The bomb needs to be collected. It is committed. Monkey D. Julie running distraction, allowing her teammate to come through that smoke as chaos ensues. The threats will be eliminated. No more damage to be done by Rachel. And Comets find a second.
Another huge multi-fragging round for Empathy as well. Great positioning towards the end of that round there. But, you know, similarly, we talk about keeping things expensive and doing perhaps a little bit more than what you should be able to in rounds. And that's one where Zerance do the exact same thing. They keep it very, very close. The fact that Rachel's able to get so much space up towards mid and get all the way behind them, get that first kill. Sure, it's the only one that she's able to get, but it just leans into that more than potentially what they should have been able to get. So very impressive round there from them. But can they keep replicating that? They're doing something very similar to what we saw DMS doing, that slower style, burning a lot of utility early on to try to ensure that there isn't too much crazy aggression happening. And then finally, they'll kind of pull the trigger towards the mid to late round. So I'm hoping to see them kind of pick up the pacing a little bit here, because you've got to keep your opponents on the back foot. You've got to keep them questioning what is that next move going to be.
Very cheap buy here. I mean, is it a buy? You could throw your Glock away at the last round, you'd spawn with it again. So a frugal round for Zerance. Now, it might be a slow one, because it makes sense even in a game of small edges. Let the CTs dump their util. They're still spending money in that way. Can also be an extended timeout of sorts, where you think about the habits of the players you're going against and how you may be able to feed them misinformation your next buy. Nice sprays from Empathy. Already warmed up. Gets to 8 now. Tees will try to find a little more damage if they can. It's going to be tough for Emerald with 2 HP though. Just the one frag. And that deficit is being reduced very quickly indeed.
Yeah, round 5 can be a huge momentum shifter. You get rifles in your hand. Suddenly you can very quickly start turning things back in your favor if you're able to get through that, which is, of course, exactly what they've done. And they've turned that into quite a bit of a landslide, but still, you know, still a deficit. Haven't quite managed to even it out yet or garner a lead for themselves. Zerance, with that having been a pistol round, you weren't expecting too much to come out of it. But now, what does the adaptation look like? Heading ourselves over towards that A site, and they have struggled to get positioning here previously, and look how strong this mid presence is now from Supernova Comets. So this could be that little bit more difficult for them to find an opening.
Love the rifle support setup. It may have been broken though on this occasion. Fox has been good with the AWP thus far. Is able to reset and catch them with that surprise frag once again. Situations like this, where you have to painfully discover where the AWP is, can be devastating to your push. Perhaps not as easy as they thought it might be. Zerance. 4-on-4 though will favor them. There will be weaknesses in the CT setup. They can cut noise here and just hold position, and eventually the CTs will have to think about the rest of the map, and you can see that second person rotating away over to the other side, but Forks might be enough on her lonesome. Down to the Tech-9 and still delivering, still buying time for that rotation. As she falls, Raven will make her way in. The trades will go back and forth, but it's 4-4. The CTs keep on winning.
Forks is like giving Lily tens right now. It's crazy how she's able to get so much done. The flick with the AWP, getting a couple of kills there, pulls out that Tech-9, manages to follow that up even with like 2 players aiming down at her. it's crazy how much space she's continuing to garner. And again, going for that A hit, knowing that the A site is a really tough nut to crack, being a little bit stubborn about it, and once again, not finding any sort of ingress.
Oh, the grenade damage is glorious for the CTs. Got to stand fuse and punish them. Might be one of those fast eco rounds in, although Julie's managed to collect an M4. I'm sure she'll look to do what she can, but they know exactly where she is, and down to 7 HP. Anubis is one of the maps that the Comets have been playing the most of late. They will not be uncomfortable, and it seems that Forks and that AWP is I think maybe her and Empathy are the key factors, at least on this CT side, to having a solid score so far versus what was always going to be a difficult team to play against in Zerance.
I mean, color me impressed. We heard it on the desk. There's a lot of favor for Zerance into this one. And maybe that's a little bit of EU bias. NA has historically really struggled in these lands, but Supernova Comets showing that they have come to play and looking very good so far on the CT side. I'm loving the fundamentals that we're seeing. I'm loving the control. They're really not giving up any space here, dictating a lot of the pacing. We'll see if they can keep that up.
Good spread across the map for the Ts, keeping their options open. Looking for Comets to make a play, but they seem quite content with waiting. Again, the Comets in rounds like this are just sitting on loads of util. Without any challenge, any Ts, any flashes coming in from the T side, they're just holding on to their util. Give us a reason to use it, otherwise we're chilling. We're heading towards that 40-second mark. Look how many smokes there are for the CT squad. Incendiaries and all. This might not... Oh, this is actually becoming very bizarre indeed, where almost a split of the A bomb site is happening. They'll find nobody in there as the CTs have made their way on the outside. This has become incredibly awkward, but that could be some info for Zerance, even with Monkey D. Julie falling there. Very awkward indeed. That bomb needs to get planted. And the CTs have the bomb site surrounded before that bomb's even down. Molly's gone the wrong way. This is looking a bit nervous here for Zerance. 8 seconds on the clock. Oh, Diaz is going to get barbecued! No. Not like this!
There's no way, bro!
Deary me. That was, you know, ships passing in the night. The CT's making a play thinking, okay, it's the other side. Grenades come in. They take the bomb site via mid only. Then all the CTs are outside. The other ones rotate in. They've got the bomb site surrounded. Zerance don't know whether to plant the bomb or if the CTs are going to push them while they're doing it. Then there's just this hesitation and nervousness, and then it never quite happens.
That was certainly a round of Counter-Strike of all time. And yet, it further proves the point that the A site is uncrackable, even in crazy situations like that.
That shows some weakness here for Zerance, I think. You know, things are looking a lot tougher. I think this is a nasty surprise for them. 6-4 now in favor of the Comets, who tie up the numbers with that frag onto Astra. Now, I'm sure the CTs, absolutely. I think Raven can hear these Ts rotating elsewhere. This is free information. Look at that punish as well. Wonderful stuff. Yeah, this feels like nervousness for Zerance. What we're seeing here, free information for the CTs, kind of descending into chaos in favor of the Comets. I don't think they expected much of what's happened in these recent rounds, and it feels like they're falling apart a little.
That's such a crazy concept as well, because you look at the pedigree of some of these players, Rachel, Astra, Cowday, that have been around quite often. Okay, Rachel only played the one LAN, but she's been around the ESL Impact team for a really long time. So there's quite a bit of experience on this roster, and to see them floundering so heavily at the moment, it feels like they just don't have an answer here. And brings into question just how much prep has gone into this. And maybe it's not even a case of prep. Maybe it's just a case of they rolled up on the day and the nerves set in and everything that they planned has fallen to the wayside and they're struggling to execute it. But it does look concerning for this team. And of course, conversely, the Supernova Comets, I know, like, Affinity is losing her mind. Somewhere on the planet, she's absolutely losing her mind, as well as all of the NACS enjoyers, because this is one of the best performances we've seen out of an NA ESL Impact team in quite some time.
Longevity will certainly help with those moments where you hesitate. You know, the longer you've been together, the more you trust each other, the more you know what to do. I think Furia showed us a good example of that earlier on. The snap decisions they make, they always know what they need to do. But there was certainly some hesitation there, and I think maybe an adrenaline dump afterwards, especially for a best of one. I think, imagine if it's a best of three, it's like, oh, okay, probably less urgent, but it felt like a bit panic stations there. Will this be a faster round then from Zerance with these Mac 10s coming through? Definitely the Comets in charge at the moment. Forks and Empathy tied on 13 frags each, leading that charge. So far, so good. No response possible just yet. Kaude coming through from the side, though. A rare frag for her in this half. Only 4 so far. Dancing around the smokes. Who's ready, though? It is Chaos on the B bomb site. And it's Astra in the clutch, but not for long at all. 8 rounds from 12 for the Comets at halftime.
Feel it spilling over. You've got to cry just
talent predictions potentially in shambles as the Supernova Comets come through the first half with an 8-4 lead. But now they've got to do that all over again on this T side. And honestly, James, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of Zerance were missing on the T side. And it's one thing if you're playing the CT side, and let's say you go B, they always go A, you have got to save, you get fragged, whatever. But on the T side, that is a lot more difficult, especially on Anubis. Anyway, we'll see what they are able to do. Wow.
Okay.
That is a very promising start. I think that's the fastest pistol round that I can remember in a very, very long time. Good for them.
Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
That was like lightning fast. Okay.
You are like, was that a read? Was that just dumb luck? Because you had both teams moving towards each other at the exact same time. And Astra and Monkey D. Julie, who I feel like we haven't really mentioned enough of, just go absolutely nuclear. But Julie's been having an absolute bomb burner of a first map. Even though the team is not doing well, she has been out of this world.
Let's see if they can keep up the good plays as it's the Comets' turn to eat grenades. Trying to make their way through. They've got a 2-woman set up to break. That was the last bullet of Emerald's MP9, dropping that headshot. And 2 will remain for the Comets. 3 for Zerance. The Serendipity starts to make her way into the A-bomb site. She will be dealt with. And Empathy clearly favors the Deagle. We'll be going fishing. Carrying the bomb as well. Now there is a flank and she will be heard, which is good for Rachel. If she collected that frag, there was a bomb plant in there, but it will be denied. Oh, we've got some pop-offs as well on the camera. That's what they clearly need. After a difficult first half for Zerance, they need that release of energy. They need to energize the whole team and remind them that they came into this with confidence and kind of recapture that.
I do find it very funny that it's another round with both the entireties of both teams just find each other at the exact same time. Will that happen a third time? As obviously this is a rough round for the Comets. You know, economy not where it could have been, unfortunately. But for Zerance, a great opportunity here to really close that deficit and perhaps put themselves back in the driving seats.
Empathy is about that Deagle life. I think we should just watch Empathy for the whole round. See what happens with that Deag. Looking to find some chaos, and they might just do that as things become awkward for the CTs, although it is Zerance getting all these frags. Raven finally able to show something. I don't know how many I saw there. I was seeing smokes for the most part, but that is what that type of round is, really. Let's try and take advantage of the chaos. Didn't quite work out for them. Didn't get all the frags they may have wanted. But now the buy rounds can come in.
I'd love to know what the routine or, you know, what was happening during the halftime break, because Zerance have come back with clearly a bone to pick. Now, obviously, a lot of that has come down to what economy looks like, and now we're in a proper buy round. Forks has got an AWP, but so does Astra, and it's Cowday, in fact, who kicks things off.
Shock and awe from Zerance. A very good start for them. 2 players half health, a 5-on-4 rally for the CTs. And it's their turn to sit on utility. Got to be careful though with those positions on B. That could have been very costly indeed. Just the one flash in the hands of the Comets, so it might be the wide swinging. Empathy with 3 HP now. Interesting. CT's almost playing retake on that B bomb site. So not much of a rotation required yet. But Julie's made a... She's repositioned a little closer, just keeping an eye on mid. But they're being patient, they're being calm. Zerance waiting for the play to be made. Empathy will pick up the AWP since she's on 3 HP. Forks is so good with it though. How much of a difference will that make? Oh, the shrapnel will take out Empathy. I'll get the bomb planted though. So Zerance decided to play for that retake. The retake they now have. They've got a smoke for the choke point if Emerald can find an angle for it. And that's Emerald taken down. So they don't have a smoke anymore to, unless they find one on the bomb site, to choke off this point. Forks will be dropped to the AWP. They'll have to do it the hard way, and the hard way they will just go and get all those frags.
Oh, yeah, another round that kind of feels like there was some potential. Okay, they lose that first player very early on, but they take some time. They kind of go into that mid-rounding, and I was saying, you know, their mid-rounding tends to be really good, and they start to garner a little bit of space, but all just kind of starts to fall to the wayside as now we even things out a little bit. I must admit, I questioned the AWP buy for the Supernova Comets. I thought maybe, you know, instead you invest a bit more into your utility and what you can bring into that round, because the AWP really didn't see much action. And I think that if they'd had a bit more utility there, perhaps they've got a few more options. But wasn't the choice they made. Hindsight's 2020. And we move into the next, and it's another really weird buy here. Of course, very little money to splurge with, so it's going to be a bit of a half buy. See what they can make happen. Have yet to pick up a round yet. But bearing in mind, this is exactly what happened in the first half. They lost the first 4 rounds, and then suddenly resurgence center. The problem is, again, the buy is not great into this one.
I've got to say, in the first half, there were a few people who were completely missing. Rachel was one of them. KOD was one of them as well. But it almost looks like, if you look at the scoreboard, that KOD's got all the frags in this half, because suddenly she's on 11. I think she came into this one with 3. Okay, maybe not all the frags, but many of them. Perhaps I overestimated that. But she's definitely pulled her socks up for this second half and is absolutely present when the team need her. So far to great effect. A hero rifle in the hands of Empathy now, who still, I was going to say still leaves on the scoreboard, but actually Forks has got 16, at least as far as their team is concerned. Now, they appear to be pulling some CTs over towards the A bomb site. However, the bomb is towards B. And now they will quietly rotate. How long do Zerance hold this configuration for? I mean, it seems they are content to go for retakes on that B bomb site. So if this util comes in, they might just fall back. They're kind of passive anyway. They don't want to get picked off with wide swings from these rifles, but it's Tech9's taking the bomb site. That's a bit different. And this might be more of a nervous retake because of just the run and gun that you have with these Tech9s. Let's see how they deal with it. They have more utility on this occasion. And again, this is by design for Zerance, these retakes. A second frag here would be really nice for them. That'll do. Team kill will be absolutely fine. And they are really closing that net methodically to a very good effect. But hold on a second, Forks runs out of bullets. Oh, that Tech9 was causing all kinds of problems. But that is another successful retake by design, again, by Zerance.
Oh, Forks with those pistols has been such a devastating component, but unfortunately...
Stop to smile for the camera.
I love that. Yeah, unfortunately, that time around, a little bit of damage done, but let's face it, at this point, who really cares? They've got so much money to work with. Sure, Emerald's a bit low, but they can spread the love a little bit. Like, it's not a huge issue. This is the round. This is where it can happen for Comets, and it needs to happen if it's going to happen. They have that proper, robust buy, a full belt of utility. This is where it needs to. And if they can't make it happen here, then there's a good chance Zerance just run away with this. Oh,
man, holding a grenade. JFK'd by serendipity and into the bomb site they go. They might call it there, the CTs. They've got a fair amount of money, actually, so a quick check of the Abacus, and this can be done. Can Astra follow up and get this kill? She knows that she landed a tag there.
All right.
Very nice indeed. 3-on-3 then. Urgency is high. There are kits here for the CT players. Smokes across the site will soon be gone. Empathy dancing around this pillar. Hasn't been caught just yet. Actually got a second one. Absolutely she does. All 3 for Empathy towards the end of the round. Stone cold killer here on Anubis.
And that's what I was saying. That was the round where it needed to happen. That was the round where it was the most likely to happen. Exactly what we saw in the first half, okay? It took an extra round because of how that economy had gone. They went for that weird force early on, and it kind of made things a bit wonky. But when they finally had an actual buy behind them, some robust power, they're able to transform that into a round win. But can they turn that into momentum? And that's the big question now as we head into round number 19, an evened out scoreline, and it's really anybody's game at this point.
Now the CTs all of a sudden have to be much more careful. If last round was with this economy, then I think they call that round. Now if they get broken here, it will be a very urgent problem. Big flash, that was perfect timing for them, but Rachel's been lost elsewhere. 4-on-4 with this time on the clock will be advantage for the Ts. They've still got a good spread with Raven towards B, keeping an eye on any information plays or otherwise from the CTs. And this makes things so nervous, so dire. Well, there's some good timing for KO there. I was going to say, just holding on these bomb sites, you're going to end up in a 2v4 situation where the other two are going to have to rotate through. So they're taking a gamble here, slowly getting closer to that A bomb site. Emerald is utterly committed here. She needs help, and she needs help quickly. How long can she stay alive for? Long enough, it seems. Monkey D. Julie picking up that instant trade frag. Another bomb carrier has to dance. Forks in a very awkward position down to the Tech 9 as Raven tries to creep in. Raven with a very good angle. No, nothing is assumed, though, by Zerance, but this is an awkward position. 14 seconds. Seems to be between two minds. Do you go for the frags or go for the bomb plant? CT's now trying to swing in. Astra with the pistol, trying to lead, trying to find out where these players are. Kode, the trade fragger. This is so awkward for them. They just can't make that connection. And Forks again with the AWP. Delivers when she needs to, and the Comets take 10.
That was such an uncomfortable position to try and play around, and credit to Supernova Comets for using the architecture, I suppose, of the environment of the A side to dodge all of those sight lines, tucking in, hugging the wall, and not allowing themselves to be seen for kind of any moment, and then forcing, because they realize it's a retake. They're the ones that have to push into our sight lines, and they finally get themselves back into the lead now. They've broken the economy of Zerance. They've hit double digits, and this is where things get so scary.
Empathy and Forks hard carrying this game for the Comets. So many multi-frags, so many impact frags. Astra and Monkey D on the other side, the big fraggers for their squad. But the next round will have to be huge. Of course, there is a chance that there is a light buy for the squad. Now, unfortunately for the CT, Serendipity is already beyond this smoke grenade. Now, if she can land a headshot here, who the hell knows? And she does exactly that! Looking for a third. 2 is huge. And the rotation is on. She's made this winnable for her team. They are en route. And the path in which they are taking could pick up some AKs as well. This timing will be very interesting indeed. If they swing through on Forks, if they don't stand in the choke point and go together, then we've got some big problems for this T side. Rachel versus Raven. Where is that last player? Oh, there's some utility also. Look at the damage on that grenade. She's found another one. Different direction though. She's got to find her quickly, and she does exactly that. They had no right to win that round, but 157 and some great timing opened the door for them, and they seized the opportunity.
Kaude getting 2 is outrageous before she's finally put down. And then they pivot off of that so well. I love the rotation, like you said, right? The pathing that they took allowed them to pick up weapons. The fact that you pick up those HEs, you're able to get so much damage done. And Raven, I feel like, is looking the wrong way And you can hear the footsteps, and maybe there's a bit of like mind games going on, like getting in her own head, thinking like, oh, there's steps there, but maybe it's a fake, maybe she's actually going this way. You're kind of overthinking that scenario, and you just moonwalk right into your opponent, and you hand them that 1v1 just about at such a tough position. And now we've evened out the scoreline around, as you said, that they had absolutely no right winning. They've pulled something magical out of the bag. They've kept this on an even kilter. And now, obviously, the loss streak bonuses will be in tatters, completely gone awry. And economy starts to become a massive issue. And this close to the end of the map, that's going to be a huge potential difference maker in who's going to come out on top of this one. Both teams still able to buy into this, but losing this round here will put either one of them on a knife's edge.
That was a big opportunity. I'm sure they will lament that slipping out of their fingers. Supernova Comets. But there is more to this story. They wanted these European challenges. They're not done just yet. Big execution into A. But there's enough space for the CTs to fight around, hold some off angles. There are so many Ts though. Flash is still coming in. D-Julie coming back, but getting nothing from it. CT's being forced, they're losing. They're being compromised. Their angles are being lost, but Rachel find a second. She has made this doable, but look how awkward these positions are. Dire for the CTs. Astra figuring out where to deploy the flashbang. So much risk to just make that step forward. And STX collects 2. That's a wrap.
Phenomenal utility usage, it feels like, from the Supernova Comets. And this is, again, the problem. I said this a bit earlier on, but this A site can be so difficult to retake on. And the fact that the flash, it feels like it could have landed, but STX kind of hiding behind the pillar, swings out at the perfect time. And another scenario in a different matchup where just 2 players have the right idea, swing together so that you can play off of each other's contact and get that trade. But unfortunately, they just line up.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a swing there was. It kind of just hesitated right on the edge of the choke point where they just got domed together. Someone's got to go in and take the bullets for the president, you know, protect the VIP. So whoever the second person is has to trade that frag. But it's so awkward. Oh, man. What a rough position. The way they were forced back around those smokes as well. I don't know where that flash came from, where Monkey D. Julie fell back, went back down the stairs again, got deleted, then the rest of them stuck behind that smoke, just have to fall back. Just can't get back out again. Again, very tough. And they, you know, that round they weren't supposed to, and they got some bonus money from that, of course, but only 1 player surviving. It could have been a lot more if they carried more rifles into the next round. So we'll see what their buy looks like in that regard, but this really is down to the wire.
Yeah, knife's edge, like I said. So little here, and the problem is losing this round puts you on match point.
Well, it's not lost yet. Oh, that's the rifler then. I don't think she's been spotted. So that's got to be a big rotation towards the other side. No one's even watching for a swing there for the CTs. They need to get over to A as soon as possible, but Astra will get picked off. Mid has been compromised. Emerald can't do really much about it. So they've just been completely outmaneuvered here. And they just don't have the tools to defend. The rifle's been lost. And match point has been secured, more or less, by Supernova Comets here.
I feel like there's certainly still a world, right? Because obviously into this round, so they did buy the 1 rifle, but that's because they had that little bit of extra cash. So into this next round, they've got a little bit of streak bonus. So they can actually come into this next round with something, with a fairly decent buy. And there's a chance, I mean, if they can do what they did on a pistol round, if they can do that with rifles in this next round, you know, you get that first round in the bag, and there's a world in which we go into overtime. I don't know how easy that's going to be. These rounds have been pretty back and forth, and I certainly have been favoring Supernova Comets in most of them, obviously aside from the one kind of crazy breakout round. But it's certainly doable, and this really is going to come down to the mental of the team. How well can they readjust and maintain, keep those emotions in check, and make sure that they're playing perfectly, because that's what it's going to require here. Match point for the Supernova Comets.
Looks like a keep it simple, stupid round. Just go with and execute. Do what we've drilled. Deliver the goods. 2 frags for the CTs. Oh, that was almost a 180 there. Monkey D. Julie keeping her team in the fight, though. Forks and STX remaining. Getting the bomb plant. It won't be the first time that Zerance have gone for the retake here, but of course they have a little less people to do it with on this occasion. Astra eats the grenade. She's got such an awkward angle to deal with, walking into a crossfire as well with an AWP. How do you get that second frag? She has a smoke. She could split the defenses by using it, but there she pull a grenade out. No one showing just yet. That clock is ticking. She has a kit. Oh, look at the weird bounce off the smoke grenade as well. Nothing going in her favor. Doesn't know what to do, and it is going to be Supernova Comets then who take the victory over Zerance in the best of 1.
That's heartbreaking because it felt like they had such a good read on it. They get those opening kills, and it's feeling like, all right, well, maybe we're going to get to go to one more round, one more opportunity. But unfortunately, it's just the staying